This is a video about including revenues in our solar rooftop model. Okay, as you can see, there are different pages. Again, the consolidated page is the page that has everything finished, and the revenue page is the page that you fill things in with. And in case you can't tell, I made the video originally when I made the first model. Okay, and then here's the capital expenditure and then a revenue section. It's really, I think, again, my opinions that I think don't matter. Right now, I'm certainly having some horrible days. My primary client decides, well, they're going to use somebody else for their classes. Okay, fine. Mine are okay. And I've been told I shouldn't make any videos pretty aggressively. But I don't give a crap. Okay? Now, so there's going to be the second video. You'll notice a little kind of change after that. And in this video, there isn't that much difficult Excel. Just to introduce the things, we're going to just take our different prices, our retail prices. The key thing is this has to be only the energy charge. And then we're going to compute a weighted average price. And we're going to use the sum product to do that. And the sum product P. Now, I think that will slow our Excel down a lot. If you have a whole lot of sum products, if they're very long sum products, it will be even worse. And then we'll put a discount to the retail price. And you notice now, if I go to the on a English keyboard next to the letter P, if you can press Control in the smiley bracket, it takes you where you're coming from, and then you press 5, and you press Enter. I'm sorry, I'm in the dark. I can't see my keyboard because I'm making these videos in a secret now. It's almost like, oh my gosh, I'm being watched. And then we're going to get the inflation rate from the assumptions page. And then one of the trickiest things to do here is not get the annual and then periodic inflation rate, but take and using a mod function. Okay, I think I did that. Yeah, just get it only true when the month is equal to 2. And then we'll take our inflation rate up here, and when the month equals 2, we'll apply our new inflation rate. When the month doesn't equal 2, we'll just go backwards and take the prior inflation rate. So that's a little bit tricky. And then we'll use the sum product. No, we'll just get the overall price from this one to the retail sales. Now for the off-system price, it's basically the same with the inflation. I didn't make our adjustment to only inflate in selected months, and I also put a sensitivity factor. So if you press Control and square bracket, and F5 and Enter, it shows you that this now comes from the sensitivity page, which we discussed in the last video. And then we'll take the production that you can actually use from your retail sales when you're home, your production from your off-system sales, and then just multiply the two, get the revenues. A final factor in this video is going to be the bad debt expense, and that's again comes from the assumptions, but we accrue the bad debt expense or reduction in revenues from bad debts accrues in the month in which you record the revenues. And this is then a sensitivity factor, okay? So this is the introductory video, and then it's going to switch to the main one. Okay. This is a continuation of the set of videos dealing with rooftop solar. Now, I'm going to compute revenues in this section. There are a few different ways of evaluating this stuff. Okay. In another file, I put each separate. It's much bigger rooftop projects, and we put them all in a separate sheet and computing an SPV on each one of them. This one is we're doing it in a much more simple way. Now we're going to get the retail sales that we allocate to, or the total electricity production that we allocate to retail sales. That's the amount that's actually used when people are home. And then if you don't have a refrigerator, well, you have a refrigerator running, but you don't run your dryer. Because drying clothes uses sunlight and wind. I think we're just going around backwards now. We're using sunlight and wind. And these dryers, what a massive amount of electricity they use. That's another subject. Sorry to be off track. Then we're going to put our prices in, which these are without inflation in constant currencies. And then we're going to put a discount to the prices in, because there's no way, I don't see why somebody would sign up for a program to put solar on the rooftop, unless they got some benefit for this. And then we're going to inflate these prices, and we're going to put an annual inflation rate. I'll go to the assumptions in a minute, and then we'll to convert that to a periodic inflation rate. We can't divide by 12. We've got to adjust by this 1 plus the annual inflation rate raised to the 12th power raised to 1 divided by 12 power, blah, blah, blah. Then we're only going to inflate this every 12 months, so we're going to have to figure out a way to do that efficiently. And then once we have a new inflation factor, we'll multiply that by our price after discount. Maybe it's a little bit clearer to kind of put all the inflation there. Then we'll put the off-system sales in, which is those sales if the solar power is producing more power than you have when you're at home, and that's a lower rate, and we have to inflate that and get the rate. And then we're just going to multiply the rates for the two amounts by these two numbers up here, and it's probably better to move this, shift spacebar, control X if you care. Maybe there's a better way to do it even. And then, okay, we'll compute our total revenues, and finally we'll put a bad debt percent in, and the Excel here is minimal, frankly. There's a little bit of a sum product thing, and then we'll get the bad debts from the accrued revenues, and finally get our net revenues that we record. Okay, so here are the assumptions for this, and again, when you make a model, I'm going to give you separate files with these partially done, as if that's a big deal, as if you can't erase this stuff yourself. But put the assumptions in the same order. We have the portfolio assumptions, system operations, capex, revenues, blah blah blah. Okay, so the first thing and I'm being a little hypocrite because I put the merchant prices first. I'm not going to move those around. Okay, so let's put our first assumptions transpose. I did too many kind of transpose things here, but it's not a big deal. Shift Control Enter. Of course, I put it in the wrong thing. We put our Shift Control Enter, and let's just forward a couple times, and 3 times if you want to be precise. Shift Control R. Now we put sum product
And to weight the average, we need a weighted average rate. So we sum product this, we put a comma or a time sign. I'll put a time sign just to be cool. It's not really that cool, but not necessary. And then we put, this is how much production we have to retail. So we multiply that, and then we have to divide our sum product by the total amount we have to retail. We get a divide by 0, so we just have to put a if error and tab, of course, and put comma 0. Okay? Whoops, what did I do there? Huh. Sorry about that. Okay. I'm listening to the radio while I'm doing this, so if I'm a little, that's probably a bad idea. I wonder if you can figure out something more interesting to do than watch the videos. Then let's just put the incentive discount in. Press F4, okay, and Shift Control P, Shift Control R. Price after the discount is just this. Okay, at least I'm not wasting your time by going really slowly. And then we put lookup, and we put year, because I didn't bother to get the year yet, which I probably should, but we can get the year. And we get the annual inflation rate. Now, this is a more interesting issue. These utility companies don't like solar. Don't pretend they do. They hate it. And what they're trying to do is reduce the retail energy portion of the rate and increase the customer charge. It really screws up poor people because they use lower amounts and then they have to pay a higher customer charge just because they use lower amounts. I've been fighting this for a long time and I lose. I shouldn't, because it's a really discriminatory kind of thing to do if you don't even care about the, energy efficient aspects of it. But utilities are going to win probably that. So you put 1 and then you go back to that and multiply this by 1 plus the periodic rate. So then we just have our regular old inflation factor. And then I said, well, this is only going to be implied every February. So you put the year of the month of the inflation here. Okay, and I already did a formatting because, to tell you the truth, I did this already. Let's make this one equal to the month up here. I don't know why I put the month and not the year. So there we only have it every 12 months. Now, if you want to apply that inflation factor, here's what you can do. You can start with 1 and you can say if it's the true, then we're going to go and use that factor. But if it's not true, we're just going to use the factor from before. That's tricky. Not this one, this one. Not this one, this one. I'm sorry I have to say it twice, because I would make that mistake. That's why I said it twice. And then, so if it was true, now I guess I have to just, I think that was okay. I just need to add a couple of things. Okay, so it holds to the inflation here, and then see it was 988, and then it changes it here, and then it holds it flat. Now the reason you have to do that is because the price, do you see the price after the discount, that changes a little bit because of the weighting of the retail sales and all that. It doesn't change by very much, does it? Okay. So we were kind of over precise with this, maybe. I think my client, I'm doing it for somebody, well, whatever. Now let's do this for off-system sales. I'm just going to get the price for off-system sales. Now this, I think I should, sorry about this, I should move this here, and we want to put this here. We don't really want to put a different price in for the different off-system sales. And okay, I just kind of screwed up here, but I should have maybe turned the video off for this. And just let's see how fast we can do it. F4, Shift Control R, equal lookup, year, go to the, I'm doing this as fast as I can to keep it from being too boring for you, so you click on the year and then you click on that to get the lookup. Shift Control R, we had, and again, this merchant price inflation is a really big deal. Okay, what really is going to happen to merchant prices? Then you put a 1 plus, and it might go, certainly could go down, raised to the 1/12th power. Certainly if you have no growth and a lot of solar power itself, it could go down. And then we put, just this time we're not going to make that kind of special adjustment, so we just put 1 plus the inflation factor, okay? And then we put the price with the off-system sales in and just inflate that. Okay, now what we also could do though is up here, I put also a sensitivity. Remember we did this sensitivity where we're doing alternative cases. So we have it on the base case, but we could make a low case 80% of the merchant price and all that. So we just put this over here, and we just simply multiply that by this factor. I think that's the kind of best way to do some of this stuff, okay? And then we get our production from off-system sales, which was up here. We find the allocation of the production. This was the production from retail, I hope, and then we put the production from off-system sales. That was a bad sigh. Okay. Shift Control R, maybe. How about Shift Control D to, oops, I can't do that. I forgot on the video. So now we have our retail sales, and we have our off-system sales when we can't use the retail, alt equal to get the revenues before we have uncollectible costs. And then we can also put the, let's put the, whoops, equal transpose. We're going to have to remember how to do that very complicated sum product. Shift Control Enter, put equal sum product. Okay, no, excuse me. F4 3 times, right? Okay, and then to get our weighted, we put sum product, and we take this one and go, this is only the retail sales we're going to apply the bad debt to. So we take that against these ones and divide that by the total again, okay? So, and we have the same if error. So that's our sum product to kind of get a nice little weighted average very quickly. Okay, and that's our weighted average bad debt expenses. So we put the total bad debts we accrue. Every time we record a revenue, we realize we're not going to get it. So we multiply those by the net revenues we collect, rather, that's the amount we record on our books. Not, that's, remember, recorded, that's the amount recorded, not the amount actually collected. Oh shoot. Sorry. Oh no. I should have tried my undo Shift Control. It was going so well, minus this, okay? And then I meant to press Shift Control E, and I press Shift Control R, okay? And we don't need this one. No, now we're going to get revenues collected. And that's where we're going to have to put a whole bunch of working capital items in here. So, okay, so that's our revenue calculation. Now it's going to be a little harder for to get the working capital and accounts receivable and all that, okay?